Good day, ladies and gentlemen, your opponent here. Let's talk about the state of a Warzone. This is not going to be your cheater, me, content creator is butthurt video. No, we're going to talk about what is Warzone doing wrong in every single way, how they could be doing it better, and what should definitely be done to increase the overall player experience. We all agree, obviously, that cheaters are a problem. The amount of cheaters is annoying. That being said, friends of mine tested a lot with VPNs, and the reality is, if you have no lag VPN, for example, and set your location to Kenya or wheresoever, you have lesser cheaters, especially when you're playing in the evening. I mean, if you don't have the option like me to play in the morning, the amount of cheaters is extremely low on the EU servers. Then if you're playing in the evening with a VPN, you can highly reduce the amount of cheaters. That's obviously stupid because it's a free-to-play game. You shouldn't have to have a VPN to actually play a free-to-play game, to be able to avoid some cheaters because you're cheating the SBMM pretty much. That's just like, that shouldn't be it. But that's not the point here. What else is Warzone doing wrong? I think the main and biggest problem is the game modes, because we have a huge amount of amazing game modes, but they're not utilizing them. Currently, we have Payload, Resurgence Squads, Plunder Trios, and the normal Battle Royale experience, which are good and fun game modes, don't get me wrong, but they should have certain standard game modes that are always there because they're bringing so much fun and joy to the community, and they definitely enhance my personal playtime too as a content creator. When a buyback, quad, trio, solo is in, play the game way more than when it's not in. To name some of them that you don't see regularly and often is buyback, solos, 2 quads, Resurgence Verdansk, we had that shortly, but it's gone. Then there was Realism Royale, which was also really enjoyed by people. And then the zombie experience too that we had during the start with the boats and everything, but also the zombie experience that we had during Halloween. What I think and how a playlist should look 100%, there should always be Battle Royale, solos, 2 quads. One of these solos, 2 quads should always be buyback, changing every week. So you have Battle Royale, solos, duos, trios, quads, and per week, one of them is going to be buyback. The one where you get 4,500 money, and then you spawn back into the game. And that changes weekly because buyback increases the playtime of players tremendously. For me, yes, 100%. And the reason for that is that you just increase the overall game time you have per game, because everyone can gather 4,500, push, die, do it again. And it does feel less shitty to die to a hacker because you just get a chance to get back. Doesn't change the fact of hackers, but still there is. Then we have Resurgence Verdansk. I, for example, do like the Resurgence mode, but I'm not the biggest fan of Rebirth Island, even though I've been creating a lot of Rebirth Island content recently, because on Verdansk with the cheaters, it feels unplayable. But the Resurgence mode itself is a great one, and Resurgence Verdansk was fantastic. So there should always be a Resurgence, solos, duos, trios, squads, whatever. So there should always be a Resurgence, duos, trios, squads, any of them, but for both. So we need Rebirth, Resurgence, and we need Rebirth, and we need Resurgence Verdansk. That should be 100% there always. Then there is game modes like Realism Royale, Zombie Experience, Payload. There was the Blueprint Rush. So they had so many other custom modes, and there should probably be one of them in a rotation too for a week, because these game modes are fun for the people that just want to goof around. Let's add Mini Royale to that too. So you do have the Mini Royale and some others that don't pop in my mind right now. Drop that in the comments below which one I forget. So we would have a playlist that consists of constantly Battle Royale, solos, 2 quads. One of them is buyback, changing weekly. Resurgence, Rebirth, and Verdansk. Always. You have Plunder, and then last but not least, one custom fun game mode from the above. And that should be the standard game list that is there every single week, every single time. And that would, in my eyes, despite the hackers or even with the hackers, increase the fun in Warzone, because we have all these great modes. But right now we have Payload. I haven't touched Payload. Oh, Armored Royale. I forget Armored Royale. That one was fantastic. I haven't touched Payload at all. I don't find it in any way appealing, especially not if I don't want to get cheated on. Now, Rebirth is super fun, but give me the Resurgence mode on Verdansk. plunder, I don't touch at all apart from leveling weapons and testing guns for videos. Battle Royale is obviously great, but buyback is so much better. And I assure you, like, drop it in the comments below. Tell me, what do you think? Would this increase your playtime again? Obviously, considering that we get a little bit less hackers, but then again, with the VPN, you could avoid some. And yes, you can also VPN a router, but you would need a router with the OpenVPN standard. Again, there's a lot of videos on these topics out there. I know the topic is kind of like crazy talking about VPNs openly like this, but the reality is, if you're not playing in the morning like me, and you're naturally blessed with easy lobbies because you're a morning gamer, with a State of Warzone, you might need one to actually still find joy or swap your game. That would be playlist-wise what would make the game better for me. Now let's talk about gameplay things. I do think they did a great job with all the weapon balances. That's completely out of the question. Absolutely fine. Could they reduce the TDK more? Yes, I do think if we reduce the TDK by another 100 milliseconds, it might get even more interesting. They would also have to reduce the TDK of the shotguns then, though. But I think the main problem we're facing currently is they removed more or less stopping power rounds, which was a great thing. I mean, stopping power rounds are extremely rare now. But instead of removing stopping power rounds and replacing it through weapon loot or something, they decided that removing stopping power rounds and putting more dead silence in instead is the way. I don't generally think dead silence is the big problem, because I find dead silence is a nice comeback mechanic. You still have a chance to fight against it. But for example, on Rebirth, dead silence is kind of brutal. On Verdansk is a momentary snapshot, and you can fight off dead silence players, especially if you're aware, if you're sticking nuts to butts with your teammates. Obviously, solos should probably not have dead silence, because dead silence solos is like a 100% safe kill 90% of the time. So that's crazy. I know they're working on high alert to also work against dead silence, so you hear steps better. But let's be fair, you have to have high alert for that instead of go straight away. I mean, I play high alert anyway, so that's not the thing. But if you don't have high alert and someone again steps on you, you die. And I'm pretty sure it ain't going to be working anyways. And they make the steps like 1 decibel louder when you have high alert. They're not going to be like do, 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 do. So either get dead silence out of the way, reduce the time dead silence run tremendously, because I think that would be better. We don't have to remove dead silence, but dead silence running for the time it does, if you would have that time, you couldn't at least push, like sometimes you're in airport and you're at the wall, you activate dead silence, run 50 meters into the building, all the way up to the top and execute the player on top while dead silence is running through. Reduce the half of it, and we're talking about content, last but not least. They have gotten good seasons. We have had interesting seasons. For example, this one, we had the satellite mode. My problem being here is we had the satellite mode for 15 days, 20 days. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Obviously, reduced the satellite sound by all means. The Nakatomi Plaza, super cool too. Apart from obviously Specialist being a little bit overpowered. I love Specialist, but it was overpowered. So Specialist had to go or had to get nerfed. But then they just take it away. So you bring out a good new change with the satellites, and it's an event, and then you take it away. And for the rest of the season, I mean, this season is super long, still 7 days left, and it has been running for what, 90 days, like 100 days, it feels like. Way too much. And we get in total 3 new weapons. And that's it. They took the satellites away, 3 new weapons. That's the content. Some more skins. Fortnite does a better job. Fortnite's amazing. Honestly, we should all go play Fortnite. Let's be fair. I heard they have Marvel heroes in there and Superman. Fantastic. Let's be real. The content recently has been lacking. They need a banger. Obviously, a lot of people are saying new map, new map, new map, new map, new map, new map. For me, it's more like the content needs to stay. We need the content longer. For example, the zombie mode content was kind of like, how long was it in there? I mean, it wasn't the best kind of content, but at least it was there and it didn't just go away. With these 20-day modes, like the events are cool, but the satellites should have stayed an integral part of the game, at least until the end of the season, and then go somewhere else. Also, we get these in-game events. We had Juggernauts, we had the fire sale, we had the jailbreak. I mean, these events are cool, but why didn't you just think about more of these events to create a bigger variety, or at least rotate these events seasonally to bring just a different feel to the game? Because we pretty much at the start of the season get something exciting, and then we just go back to point zero. apart from if there are map changes. But the map changes this time, some satellites crash down that have zero influence on how the game behaves in any singular way. I mean, remember when the zip lines came out? The zip lines were a fantastic change. That changed everything on Verdansk. The whole way how it plays. Like, there used to be no zip lines. You play Warzone from the beginning? There used to be no zip lines. You couldn't just zip line up on a building. No. Someone was on top of the building. Yeah, good luck. You're dead. You never get up there. You can't do cool plays with like airstrikes and clusters and zip up and try to get them. That's not happening. That was a change. And that is still in. And that was content. Also, the Nakatomi Tower that actually stayed. Great content. I'm so happy that we still have that building because it's so fun to traverse through it, to play in it. I've been living in that building for the longest of that season. But again, satellites now, 3 new weapons, nothing, no content. Like Season 4, one of the most disappointing seasons in the whole game, apart from the meta changes and the TDK changes and everything. But let's be fair, the average player might not fucking care about that. He wants actual content to play. He doesn't care if the gun has 400 MS or 500 MS. He just wants to play a gun he likes. We have so many people that just, I want to play the Ram 7. I don't care how good the Ram 7 is. You know what, Pony? I've been playing the Ram 13 since Season 1. And yeah, the M13 is my favorite gun. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong about it. Wrapping all these things up, Warzone could be in a better state despite the hackers. Despite having a real big cheater problem, obviously, that you can partially avoid with a VPN. Obviously, if the cheaters VPN too, congratulations, you're going to find them again. But yeah, the reality is that Warzone is not only or because of hackers in this bout of a state, it's more or less Warzone's own doing. Again, the game modes, the dead silence overflowing, and the lack of content is what's hurting the game. It's not necessarily that the cheaters ruined it all. That's a too simplified view. Obviously, it takes off the joy for a lot of people. But these other things, they bullied way more people off too, because it creates a stale atmosphere if you just have the same game modes always. The same. And the fun game modes that really bring joy, they're just taken away. Especially, again, I want to point this out, the resurgence game modes and the buyback game modes. They increase your average playtime per match. In a quad match with buyback, I might have more action, I'm more aggressive, and overall I play longer in a match because I don't have to wait for my mates to rest. As soon as I have 4.5, I can be aggressive, so I don't have to be defensive. Like if you're camping in a buyback mode, you're anyways lost control over your life completely. Same goes for the Verdansk resurgence mode. You die, your teammate waits, you come back, you play. So for the average player, you in total just have way more game time to actually play the game and enjoy a match and maybe do an aggressive play that gets you killed. But then you'd come back in the game and play again. Obviously for the people that just like the normal Battle Royale, we're interested in this bonus game modes. But for them, content is missing. For me, content is missing. I've done every single loadout in Warzone. I've created some metas. I've killed some metas. I've been doing shotguns, knock shotguns, and so on. On Verdansk, I've covered everything in existence. Every single loadout has a video more or less on this channel. There are no secrets anymore. There would have to be a complete new weapon overhaul to in any way make me have something to do. And that's why I'm doing Rebirth right now. Because smaller map, different loadouts needed. This is what I think are some of the greatest problems in Warzone. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts on it? Are you just going to yell at me now, hackers is the fault, and Pony, whatever you're saying, you're wrong? Drop it in the comments below. Let me know. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think Warzone has a future? Is Battlefield just going to take away the whole player base despite not being Battle Royale and not being free? Two important points there. Gotta say, with a portal mode, they get up and coming. They're definitely offering a lot of content up, and I'll be flooding the channel with that. Don't you worry. Warzone has a special place in my heart, but there's so much more they could do, and I hope they will do. I just don't have much hope for the game mode thing. Maybe Season 5 is going to bring new content that I can make some videos about, but as of right now, Rebirth and weapon builds is kind of the only thing I have left. Maybe some special challenges on Rebirth, but that's about it. Waiting for the New World release, obviously, to bring you more guide content on that one too. Have a fantastic good day. Don't forget to subscribe for more because we're not out of Warzone videos yet. Wish you a fantastic day.